What are your thoughts around PMI becoming involved in the Agile space?
I think PMI becoming involved in the Agile space has been somewhat inevitable for a while now. The project management body of knowledge is considered a collection of practices that are applicable on most projects most of the time. And as Agile has gone a little bit more mainstream and has been more widely adopted across the organizations out there, I just think it was inevitable that PMI was going to take that and capture it. I think there comes some challenges associated with that in the sense of how it gets codified and how it gets used, and how the people out in the community take that information and deal with it. But I personally think that PMI, including Agile in its body of knowledge, is a great thing, and I'm happy to see them there.
What are your thoughts regarding defining a set of good practices for the Agile certified practitioner?
Well, so there's some risk in defining a set of practices in the sense that if those practices are written down and people interpret that to be the only practices that are allowed or practices that have to be applied in every situation, every time, I think it's going to be damaging. Again, that said, I do believe that there is a certain set of practices and tools and such that most Agile projects use most of the time, and I think it's a good thing to have those understood, enumerated, able to be tested on, and taught to people. I don't think our body of knowledge is that in flux. I think you see a lot of challenges even with the PMP exam, in the sense that people take it as kind of the one way of doing things and apply processes in a way that are not conducive to project success. And so I'm not under any illusions that the things that we've put into the ACP certification are going to get misused. They absolutely are. But as long as PMI is committed to evolving that body of knowledge and updating the tests on a periodic basis, and is inclusive of the new things that come up as they are learned and as they become mainstreamed, I think it can be an effective tool for encouraging people to learn and to get interested in Agile.
What trends are you noticing in the Agile community?
Well, the most obvious trend, I think, over the last couple of years is the explicit inclusion of the lean kind of manufacturing concepts. I think we're starting to see what was maybe implicit before. So Scrum is really founded around kind of lean product development, but somehow over the years that got kind of abstracted. And so now we're seeing kind of an explicit revisiting of concepts like theory of constraints and work in process limits and reducing waste and such. I think we're also starting to see Agile being applied in larger, more complex organizations where some of these lean concepts can actually help us understand and more effectively do program management and portfolio management across larger enterprises. So I think we're going to see more of that as Agile matures and goes into parts of organizations that we haven't seen previously.
As Agile software development crosses the chasm, what are the major challenges you see facing the community over the next couple of years?
So by crossing the chasm, we basically are talking about being adopted by more and more, maybe more traditional organizations. And I think the big risk is that Agile isn't just a set of practices and tools. It's to some degree a belief system. It's a way of thinking about risk and uncertainty and how we want to manage for risk and uncertainty. So I think the big risk is people taking the body of knowledge or the ACP test or really any book that they might pick up and read and trying to apply the practices without actually fundamentally changing how they think about how to manage their organizations and how to create value. And I think what goes kind of along with that is that Agile really has its big bang for the buck when it really goes beyond software product delivery, and it is inclusive of sales and marketing and downstream support, sustaining engineering, just really everything from kind of the concept and customer all the way into its actual implementation and support. And so when we look at it holistically, I think we have a much greater chance of success if we continue to think of it as just a set of engineering practices or a set of product development practices. I think that's going to be a risk. And so I'm really interested to see over the next couple of years how Agile gets applied and how it grows as it encounters these larger, more traditional organizations.
What are your hopes and wishes for the future of the Agile community?
Yeah, I think I would hope that Agile continues to mature and to develop, and that we get better at acknowledging the realities of businesses as they are today. I think quite often we engage traditional organizations using words that we've created and using concepts that we as kind of Agile coaches and practitioners value. I'd like to see us mature that up a little bit, and I'd like to see us talking in the language of the business. I would like us to explore concepts in terms of value and the creation of value, not just as we understand it maybe at the Agile team level, but as the enterprise understands it. And so I guess just in short, just really just a maturation of the principles and practices and tools and techniques to be able to actually speak the language of the business and to be able to influence at that level, because that's where it's really going to need to go in order for us to truly be successful with this approach.